All right, so to start with, I'm going to share my screen and it's this one. Okay, and as we're all looking at the screen, I'm going to turn off my video. A reminder to keep yourselves muted. I see some people aren't muted. It can be quite disrupting when the audio comes on at a random. Okay. So to start with, I know that the SOAR system is new and it will take some time to get used to, but we are designing it in such a way that we are trying to make it user-friendly. So we hope that even though there might be some adjustment period while you get used to the system, that in time you will be more comfortable with it. And we thank you for your cooperation with using the system. When you are ready to submit a DFT application, you need to speak with your program officer or with Anastasia to ask them to make the form available. So it won't always appear on your page. So this is a organization that we're going to just be looking at for today. So here it's the overview, then there's operations, and you go to funding and reports. So once you have asked your program officer or Anastasia to enable the form, it will appear here. So I'm going to click on View Form. Okay. Is everybody seeing the screen all right? You can do a thumbs up. Okay. I trust that if there's anything that's not visible, that Anastasia, you can also let me know. Okay, very important. When you see this form, there are drop down. You can click here to make it drop down to actually load your information. But you're not going to be able to do that unless you click Edit Form. So that is the first thing you need to do when you get to this DFT application. Click Edit Form. And then you have the chance to name your activity. So if you are running a workshop for the elections, as I'm sure many of you will, then you could write election workshop and you will choose your date. Let's say we're going to set it for the 1st of July. The type of activity is a workshop. Type of workshop to be given. At the moment, there isn't a category for elections because that's something that is unique to 2026. So you can, in that case, you would select other. But if it was related to any of these other categories, then you could select it. So permaculture, human rights, IDP, etc. So I'm going to choose other. What type, or which of your focus areas does this activity relate to? So here you've got access to justice, climate change, food security, gender, and gender-based violence, youth development. So I've selected access to justice. Number of participants, that's fairly straightforward. Okay, now this is where you have the opportunity to give us the full details of what you are planning to do. It's very helpful if you say what you are going to do, why you have decided to do it, and what you hope to get out of it. What is the point of doing it? I know that these types of activities take a lot of your time to organize, so you can share with us the details of why you are doing it. If you just write, so why is the activity needed, and you write, we want to do training, that doesn't give us any information about what you hope to get out of it. Why have you identified that election meetings are a useful activity to have, to bring people together to talk about the elections, to talk about things that they can expect or what to be aware of. So we really encourage you and ask that you give us details here. At least, I'd say 100 words would be great. I mean, you can write more. The more you write, the better. But please don't give one sentence. If you give one sentence, there's going to be so many follow-up questions that it's going to delay the whole process. So the more information that you provide here, the more quickly your application can be approved. Who will facilitate this activity? I think that's quite straightforward. It says provide the names of any individuals or organizations that assist with this activity. Where will the activity be held? Again, that's fairly straightforward. Okay, so those are the details of the DFT. Then the proposed budget. What we have done is we ask you to at first say the planned total cost to deliver the training, and you state that amount, and then the funding amount that is being requested from SCAT. So if it's going to cost more than what you are requesting, those two will be different. Otherwise, it would be the same, what it's going to cost and what you're requesting. Then we have uploaded a budget template onto the website that you can download and edit. Once you've edited it, then you will upload it. So I'm going to download this budget and then share that screen just so that you can see. But before I do that, I just wanted to check, are we all following? Is everything good?
Yeah, clear. It's clear.
Oh dear. Okay. Thank you so much. I see lots of thumbs up. That's helpful. So I'll just stop sharing so that I can reshare my screen. Okay.
Sorry, Claire, there is a lot of echo. I don't know what is happening.
Could you rather use the chat than unmute yourselves? It would be appreciated. Thank you.
And I think in that case, maybe there's more than one device in the room. Maybe that's why there's an echo. I see, Nomboni, so you have two devices there. So you just need to have the volume of the second device turned all the way down so that when you unmute, you're not going to hear yourself. All right, so from this form, which I'll just make a little bit bigger, you'll see it is the same budget for FRIS and DFT, which makes it a bit easier. So again, name of activity, which you would use the name that you already used, state the requested amount, and then here again, please give as much detail as possible. So the items that you are asking for, the amount and the comments, the more information you give us at this stage, the less back and forth there needs to be. And it just makes the whole process run much more easily. So if you just write like food, 3,000 Rand, then it doesn't really give us an idea like, okay, what kind of food are you providing? Is it per plate? Are you doing snacks like fruit and sandwiches? Are you getting somebody to cater? So you can give us the detail of what the amount is. We also would like you to save this document with your organization's name. It just makes it a little bit easier for the person that if one of our team members downloads this document, or if it, yeah, even for yourselves, you just write your organization's name here. So we've been working with Saving Lives, so then it would be, can you all see where I'm changing the name? It's just right here at the top of the template, over here. Okay, you could also, as an added thing to do, write your organization name here. It just, yeah, there's no harm in putting your organization name whatever document you're writing that you have to download. So once you have completed your budget, you save it, and then you go back to the screen that we were working on before. And you click here, and you go to you go to wherever you've saved the document, and you upload it. We don't anticipate that you will have any challenges with this, but if you do, you can get in touch with your program officer or with Anastasia to ask. But we think that it's a pretty straightforward activity. Download the budget, edit it, save it, upload your budget. Then the last step is to download the board approval form and to get the required board signatures, and then to upload them into the system. So the board form looks like this. And here again, you can write your organization's name at the top. And then go ahead with your usual name, board member full name, and then their position, name of the activity, date, amount requested, and the signing of the document. Then you save it. Again, you can write your organization's name and the title of the document that you save. Once you've saved it, you go back to the system and you upload it here. Okay, that is the application. Once you have completed the event and you want your report, you will see that it has also been enabled. Here. So I'm going to click View Form. And it's the same process, edit form, and then you are going to be updating us on this information. So as far as we can see, it is very straightforward. And I think that the best way that you will become familiar with these features is when you actually do it. Because when I show you, it's not the same as when you do it. So I think once you've done it, you will be more comfortable and familiar, and when you have questions, you can ask us. But I think the best experience will be for you to actually just do it yourselves and then see what questions come up, because as you can see, it is very straightforward. Important as well with all of your activities, you have your attendance, where you upload the register, the handwritten register, and then you just give us the summary of how many non-LDA staff attended, how many LDA staff, how many board members, total number of attendees, and then give us the number of people that were below the age of 35, male, female, and other. So then your attendance register would need to capture all of these details. There is an option to click, "We did not take attendance for this activity," But I would recommend that you do take attendance. I think that it is a requirement, and yeah, I think it would be quite unusual to run an event and not to take attendance. Then you've got a space where you put the outcome of the activity and were there any major deviations? If you click yes, you have the opportunity to describe what the major deviations were and how they were managed. Here you upload your photos. Then you will upload the budget that you worked on and oh, sorry, not upload the budget, you will give us the total running costs. And then here you will attach all the slips, all the invoices for the event. And we ask that they be the receipt from the person that provided it. So if you've got an invoice book, a handwritten invoice from your organization isn't what we're looking for. We're looking for invoices from the service provider or from the shop that shows what was spent. Then finally, what development or learning indicators will the PO monitor after the event? So I think that would be a conversation with your program officer to determine what those are. And yeah, all of the steps, if you have questions, you can engage with your program officer or with Anastasia to discuss things before they're decided. So you don't have to submit your application with questions. First, find out if you can get your questions answered and then submit your application form. If I can just go back, I see there was a question in the chat about the board signatures. So this document, you would print this and then ask your board to sign it. And once they've signed it, you would scan it and then upload it. There are also other ways of, if you take a picture of it, you could send yourself the picture of the document via email or via WhatsApp if you use WhatsApp on your computer. And if for some reason you are really struggling because your scan is broken and you're totally stuck and you don't know how to upload it, then you can also speak to your program officer or to Anastasia to try and assist you with uploading the document that was hand signed. Okay. Just going back here. So we have now been through the DFT application and the DFT report. Are there questions in response to what I have shared?
Hi, good morning, Claire. Yeah, I did understand. We actually did understand what you did, but we are experiencing a problem because when we go into funding and reports, and then it says similar there, funding applications, but we don't see the DFT and FRIS
Yeah.
form.
So remember what I said at the beginning is that you need to ask for it to be enabled.
Okay.
And the reason that we do that is because on a quarterly basis, these documents will be like reviewed. So if we just left the DFT form there the whole year, then every quarter that you don't apply, the report would be blank, which we don't want. So rather than do that, you ask your program officer or Anastasia to enable the form. And then within that quarter, it will be reviewed whether you have submitted the report or not. So it's very important that you ask for the report and the application to be enabled, and then you do the activity soon after that. Not that you ask for it to be enabled and then you only actually plan to do it in 6 months' time.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, sorry, just one more question. So, this is only for FRIS and DFT, and the climate change we're going to do as per normal. It's not on the system yet.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you, Claire.
I would like it to be, but one step at a time. Okay, that was a great question. Thank you, Sheila. Other questions? Okay, well, this won't be the only opportunity. If you think of something and you want to ask towards the end, that will be fine. So then now we will go on to the FRIS claim form. Oh, Anastasia,
Sorry,
please. Go
Claire.
ahead. Go ahead.
Morning, everyone. Claire, I just wanted you to please go into the DFT report.
Okay, just one moment. Okay.
Yeah, so you'll see that the first section, which is activity information, has a lock on the right-hand side.
Yes.
And that's because you're reviewing your application. So if you open that, you'll see it's the same questions and you're actually reviewing your application. So you're just making sure that everything is still there. So that part is locked because you're not required to do anything. I know there was confusion with the narrative report. When there's a lock in that section, it means you're not meant to do anything. You're just reviewing, trying to see if everything that you've given us in the application is correct. So in the report, you're just confirming that, okay, this is what we applied for.
Great. Thank you,
Yeah.
Anastasia. That's very helpful. So where there's a lock, it means that it's not actually possible to edit that at that stage because it's pulling the information from the previous form. All right, let us go back. So again, we are on the funding and reporting page. I'm going to click on the FRIS claim form where it says view form. Then I'm going to go to edit form. Unless you click edit form, you won't be able to edit anything. So if you see I'm trying and there's a block symbol, so you need to click edit form. Okay. You will see it is a very similar process of what questions are asked. Name of your activity, how you like, maybe you are having a soccer tournament. So the name of your activity would be soccer tournament with the primary school, for example. The date of when you are holding the activity, the type of activity. We've just given a few examples. If it's not covered, you can say other. So for example, the sports tournament would cover that one. If it's not covered, then you can click other. The fundraising sources. We are using a few examples from previous FRIS applications, but again, you can click other if it's something else. Not that's outside of food, beadwork, traditional Thai livestock, so other is also an option. Again, which of your focus areas does this activity relate to? So it could be one of these. And it could also be that you are raising the funds because you want to use the funds for something to do with access to justice. So if maybe the soccer tournament in itself isn't related to access to justice, the purpose of the fundraising is to contribute towards that. Then here again, briefly describe the activity that you are planning to do and what you hope to achieve from it. So you want to host a soccer tournament to raise funds so that you can run a follow-up workshop on elections, for example. Then we ask who will be assisting with helping to raise the funds. If you would give the names of the individuals and organizations. You would give us the details of where the fundraising will take place. And if it's relevant, an attendance register. I think even if you, for example, are selling food and you are not hosting a workshop, so you wouldn't give us the names of the attendees, but you could still give us a register of the people that bought food. So you would have, like, we sold 100 plates of braai food, and you have a document to show the person's name and how many plates they bought and what that would have cost them. So there is still a record of people being there and taking part in your fundraising activity. So here you're describing the outcomes. What impacts did this activity have on your organization, your community, or individuals? And learnings. Will you change processes, partnerships, or approaches based on how this activity went? So here we are asking for you to give us details on the learnings because it shows how you are going to take things forward in the future. So if you just write nothing, then it shows that perhaps that you didn't engage more deeply with the question because I feel like in anything you do, there's always a level of learning. So the learning could be that next time you will notify people sooner of the activity so that you have more people attending, or you will share the invitation with your ward councillor so that they can mention it in the meetings that they hold beforehand, or that you will make sure to have enough food. Maybe you run out, or that you will choose a different activity because it wasn't well attended. So we would be very happy for you to give this question some thoughts. It's really important. Also gives you that moment for reflection. Okay, then going down your photos. And I know that when you have events, there's a lot going on, so it's quite helpful to assign the job of taking photos to a specific person and make sure that they do it. Because if you don't have the specific person assigned, sometimes the event goes so quickly, and at the end, you realize that you didn't take pictures and it's too late. The budget process is the same as the one that we went through for DFT. You give us the planned total cost to deliver this activity and upload a copy of your budget. So then this budget would show the amount that you spent and the amount that you earned. And as you know, with SCAT's fundraising model, you apply for the FRIS to be matched 1 to 5 on the profit that you make from the event. It's not the total amount that was spent. Then your activity costs. What was the total cost of running this activity? How much was raised? FRIS funding amount being claimed from SCAT. And then here again, you upload all of the invoices and receipts, documents to show the amounts that you spent. And then you also have the board approval form that you download and print and ask your board to sign. And it is the same form as the previous one that we worked on. And then you would click done. So as you can see, it is very similar to the DFT form with a few differences. So, and again, once you start doing these forms, you will probably have questions that you can ask. Sometimes when you just watch somebody do something, you don't have questions. It's only later when you actually have to do it for yourself that you realize you have questions. That being said, are there any questions that anyone would like to ask?
Hi, Claire.
Hi,
I've
Rashida.
got, I've got a question. Say for instance, how will it work if you do two FRIS? Maybe you say for instance you FRIS in June, and then you have still got money left to FRIS it maybe on a later stage. So how does that work on the system?
Thank you for that question. And I just wanted to check with Anastasia, if you'd like to answer.
You can ask for the form to be made available again. I don't know if I'm getting the question. So you will fill in the same form for your second FRIS. So you're not just limited to just once off, if I'm answering the question correctly, if I understand the question.
Yes, Anastasia. I think you do understand the question, but I just wanted to know because as I saw for the reporting period, there is most almost like a reference, I would say, like there was a FRIS and the information is on the system already. So what I'm asking if won't that affect if you FRIS for a second time?
I think what Anastasia was saying is that then you will have the opportunity to have a second form. So you won't be limited to only completing one form. Is that?
Okay, I think I understand. I think I
Yeah.
understand.
And it could be that when you are ready for that, then you will see what I mean. So it's once you've done your first FRIS and it's all done, and a month later you do another one, then you can speak to your program officer, Anastasia, and take it from there. Thank you for
Okay,
that question.
thank you,
so
Claire.
much. Okay.
There's a question in the chat, Claire.
Okay, so that's what I was saying. Thank you from Delta for that question. So even though you wouldn't have an attendance register, I'm asking that you have a record of sales. So if a person buys a plate of food, you would ask them to give their name and to sign just to say that they've bought a plate of food. And then in your form, it would show like one plate of food, and to know, you would state how much that cost. And I think for fundraising, people understand that there needs to be some form of record keeping. If you were to go to the normal shop and they asked you this, it might be a bit random. But if you say to them, this is for fundraising, please can you just sign? I don't think you shouldn't have any objections to that. Yeah, and we're not asking that you capture their ID number, for example, but a name and a phone number and the signature. And Anastasia, I think we don't have a form for that, but maybe that's something that we can talk about, that we could send via email. I don't know if it's possible to add it to the system at this stage, just so that you can see what kind of information to capture for sales. And I see that there's a question from PSJ around your FRIS, your DFT application that has already been sent. I'm not sure, I'm not familiar with where in the process that DFT application is. So in that case, you might need to chat with your program officer and they can advise you. But I suspect that it might be the first opportunity for you to try out the system, PSJ, and to put the application again on the system. Because if you don't, then it's not going to be recorded on the system. And we would like going forward for everything to be on the system. So even though you've already emailed it, if you can upload the information using the SOAR system, that would be what we ask. And again, you would need to ask your program officer or Anastasia to enable the form. Okay, I'm seeing from K. Alistair, if the organization wants to do once off FRIS, how much profit must we make to get the 25,000 Rand? Reasons for my question: we are staying in different areas with low income. Thank you so much, Nobonisa. So as you know, SCAT matches the profit 1 to 5. So if you have a profit of 5,000 Rand, then that would give you the 25,000. And in order to do that, you would have to have an event that maybe you sell lots of things that are like, if you were selling chips and sweets at a sports event, it's not expensive, but there you would have, the quantity would be high to get you a profit of 5,000 Rand. As opposed to doing something that's more expensive, like clothing, which maybe you would only sell 15 items, but they would be more expensive. Does that cover your question? Give me a thumbs up.
Claire, just a question, please.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to know, I like the previous speakers the advice. I want to know what I want to know is for you said that you have to raise 5,000 Rand to enable you to get the 25,000 Rand. I do get it. It's just a comment, I think. What if you maybe do multiple fundraisers and then say for instance 3 fundraisers, and then at the end of the day you can see that okay, I've reached my target, and then you FRIS. Is that something that we can do?
Absolutely. Thank you, Sheila. That is a great question. So then you would say you do 3 different events, and from those 3 activities, you now have a profit of 5,000 Rand. Then you can submit 1 FRIS claim form and just give details of the separate activities in that form. And so if we go back to the form, I think it will make it a little bit more tricky to fill it in, but I think it will be possible. Let's just open it. So activity information, then, and you click edit form. You could give the 3 different activities. You had a bake sale, you sold sweets at the sports day, and you had a raffle. So you can give those different names. The date, you'll just need to choose one of the dates. Type of activity is sale. Fundraising source was food. You were using the funds to support this area of work. And then under this briefly describe the activity, you'll give the details of all three things that you did. And I think that would also work well in like communities where you know that people are not going to spend a lot of money on fundraising, but over a few months you can have different events, and through all of those events you get your profit of 5,000 Rand. So maybe you have to spend 2,000 Rand to get that profit, so you would take that into consideration, and then your profit of 5,000 Rand is what you would be claiming for. And Washila, again, because you're doing 3 different events, you will need to, I think you'd have to upload, you can upload more than one document. So here you could upload 3 different documents. And your outcomes, you can give the description of the different the outcomes if they are different. The learnings, maybe you only have 1 learning for all of them, maybe you have 3 different learnings. You can upload all the photos. The budget, again, you can give more than 1 budget. And the activity costs. This then would be like overall costs. And the slips, you can upload all of them. And board approval. I think what would probably be useful is if you get the board approval for all of the events on 1 form, if that's possible. If it's not possible, you could just upload more than 1 form. Okay, was that helpful, Washila?
Yes, Claire, very helpful. And then I'm so sorry, just another question. Where they ask you to almost like explain what you're going to do with the FRIS. Say, for instance, I want to do the FRIS helping, like I saw multiple, there was climate, access to justice and all that. Say if you want to do to use the FRIS maybe to renovate your office, one thing, and then you also want to use your FRIS to do climate change, and you also want to do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
How do you explain it within the system then?
So under outcomes, you have the opportunity, there's an open box. So where you are required to select and you only have a short space, you can't really give that detail. And here you can choose more than one. So let's say you have 3 different things that it's related to. You can choose 3 different things. But then in the open boxes, then here you can say number 1, your building renovation. Number 2, your climate change workshop. So these free boxes are where you can give us the detail that you're not able to capture in the questions where you just select a response.
Okay, thank you. I understand.
Thank you. So I hear the question from Delta. You are saying that you understand that you would need to have a record of sales. I think then here you'll upload an image of your attendance register. The record of sales would be your attendance register. We're not asking you to submit a record of sales and an attendance register. So the record of sales would say, and this is what I'm suggesting, that we share one with you, an example of a record of sales, because there isn't such a form to download. And then it would say, we sold to Nombaniso, bought 1 plate of food. There's her name. The number of plates that she bought is 1, and it was 50 Rand, and that's 50 Rand. And you could just get her to sign. So you are still recording that people were there, people were buying, but it's not an attendance register.
Ah, look.
I see you've
Okay.
unmuted. Do you want to ask a follow-up? Yes?
Yes, I've got a question.
Okay. Oh, wait,
It's
sorry,
Tizeka
just a
from.
moment.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sorry, I just wanted to check from Intlango. Did that cover you? Are you... Okay, I'm not hearing you. Maybe you can type in the chat.
Let me think. Let me think.
Okay, go ahead, Suzeka. You can unmute Suzeka and go ahead. Okay, please go ahead. I see your hand.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes?
Okay. What if we don't have the attendance register? Ne? We were selling from the athletic event, selling kids goodies, so we don't have the attendance. So what must we do?
I'm actually going to ask somebody else to answer that question. Is there somebody in the room who would like to answer that question?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Okay, so I see MT Foundation. Would you like to answer the question?
Thank you very much, Claire. We had a similar event on when it's a big campaign, Purple Friday, that maybe everyone may relate to, that happened sometime November last year. And we encountered a similar hurdle that it was quite impossible because we were selling the purple ribbons as a fundraiser, 5 rand per ribbon. And we felt that it was proper to demonstrate because we had pictures of the rolls of ribbons that we have procured, even the ones that we were able to cut for sales, and the pins and the receipt and the people that were wearing that. Perhaps it's just pictorials of the actual action to prove occurrence of the sales, though it won't be able to literally match the number that you have sold. But I believe that at least it can justify the occurrence. But it's also a responsibility from the LDA to also make sure that the report that we produce is credible and can demonstrate that indeed the fundraising has taken place. Thank you.
So are you saying that because you were selling so many that you weren't able to keep a register of the sales?
Because it was not necessarily our event.
Oh,
We
it wasn't your
piggybacked on that.
event.
Yes. Similar to them, they also piggybacked on the existing event that is not, but to sell like any other person from the community that can go and sell.
Okay,
Thank
but
you.
I think even then it's like you have a product, the ribbons, and you are receiving money. So even then you could use a register of sales document to capture that this person bought 3 ribbons, this person bought 1 ribbon. And I think, again, you just need to explain to people that it's for fundraising purposes and that this is what you need to do. And I think the more simple that you make the form for people to complete, the easier that will be. And while we're talking, I'm seeing if I can get a form to show. But before I show it, I just wanted to check. Nominisa, you unmuted yourself. Were you trying to say something?
No, I was trying to say, Usizwe must repeat her question.
I think, Nomalisa, if you mute the volume on your second device, it should be fine for you to speak. I think that like if you're on a phone and your computer, then one of them the volume needs to go down. Okay. I see your hand. Is it in response to Sazeka's question?
Yes, Claire.
Okay, let's hear.
Well, they can also use a receipt book.
A receipt book. Yes.
Yes, then keep the copies and stick it to the white paper and scan them. Then
Yes.
give the customer original copy. Then was on that book, you keep a copy.
Yes.
I don't know
think
if you get what I'm saying.
yes. I think that would be fine.
Mm.
And the receipt book is something that you can purchase from a stationery shop, if not online. Zeka?
Claire, I want to know if I combine the whole amount in one receipt, or what must I do? Because there were kids that were
yeah.
coming to buy. Ne? I've got pictures, but I don't have the record.
Mm. Yeah.
So if I make a receipt, I must make one receipt for the
No,
whole amount that I received.
Customer.
no, it was per customer. Yeah.
Yes.
Because they were buying with 1 rand, 2 rands, 5 rands. So which means how many receipts I'm going to have?
Yeah, I mean, so let me just show you this. This is a bit more complicated. Okay. I see your hand, Dodrick. Would you like to ask a question or is it a response?
Okay, thank you. It is a response. It would be very difficult for us to have as attendants or as receipts because you are in a sport field. There is a lot of children, and then we are only three, for instance, in our office, and the sales goes up. You must attend this person. And when you give him the sweet, for instance, the child run away. Where are you going to get these attendance register and receipts? It is very difficult, really, but we will try. But it is very difficult if you are selling, unless you do some, like in Nanzika, you sell pieces of meat, then it is understandable. But in a sport field, it is very difficult. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I'm hearing your concerns. And yeah, I think it could then be on a case-by-case basis. So the requirement is that you have some form of documentation. So then in that case, you could say we sold 500 sweets and we had 50 customers and the profit and the sale income was this. So we're just asking to have some record of sale. I think pictures are very helpful, but I would say do your best to provide evidence for it. Okay, then I saw there was also a question from Dodrick, can our program officers do on-site training on SOAR? So yes, that is also possible. And that is something that you can discuss before your next field visit from your program officer. Okay, let me just see. Is there any other questions? Any other hands? Okay, I'm not seeing hands. So this is a simple example of a sales register. But I do hear what you're saying, that even this might be impossible for kids when you're selling a suite by suite. But if it is possible, for example, if you're doing plates of food and you have the ability, then you could say event name, venue, date, seller, item sold, plate of food, quantity 2, price 50 Rand, total, payment method cash, and then the initials of the person. Though in saying this, we appreciate that you sharing with us that it's not possible, and I'd rather you say that and we do our best to figure it out rather than you seeing that this is required and then you just write it yourself because it's a requirement. So we're not suggesting that you just make up information when you can't get it. We're saying please do your best to get it, and if you can't, then that's also a conversation that you can have with your program officer. And I'm aware that some of you will be receiving or being appointed a new program officer soon, so then that will be a future conversation.
Claire, sorry.
Claire, is it possible to just look at what the MT Foundation has just sent you so that you can have a sense of the struggle that we're referring to? Because yes, we've done another event of the musical performance. There it was easy because you are selling tickets and you're writing who bought the tickets. But with this one, because it was masses and people were distributed across different points, it was we never thought it would be practical to administer attendance register. You can just quickly check and advise on the gaps on how we can do it better in the future. Not sure if you're able to quickly
Yeah.
do that.
I think that I can see you've put a lot of pictures and other evidence. I think I'm probably not going to be able to give you proper feedback in this meeting live. But yeah, this is a conversation that we could take offline, if that would be okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Claire, can I just add something?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is a fundraising event, and I say this in quotation marks. So we need some kind of proof that you really did make the sales. And maybe we can explore this in this session amongst ourselves so that we can take it back to SCAD and say, this is what the organizations would like to do in these cases. And I think at the end of the day, we just need to find a solution to having proof that indeed we did do this. I know we can get pictures and all of that, but I don't think that's enough proof to say that we indeed did make the sale. I don't know if I'm making sense clear. Maybe we can explore that now. If there's an organization that thinks that they have figured this out, maybe they can help us.
Yeah, I think it is a common problem, especially when small sales are made.
Hi, colleagues.
Hello.
Hi, it's Nomiki from Entlango.
Okay, go ahead.
I think I also raised a concern about the whole issue of registers. For instance, what you had just shared on your screen. We are in different areas and we fundraise with different fundraising events. I think the register that you had just shared, like you were saying, in an instance where it is quite an organized event where you'll have like order. I'm not saying that others don't have order, then it might be possible to do that. But if then you take an example like Dordrecht, for instance, that register that was shared now is totally impossible.
Yes.
To have it signed like that. So I'm happy when you are saying that maybe it's something that we can discuss with our LOs that then can be taken back to SCED, because
Yeah.
as much as you want all these, like what Anastasia is saying, that sometimes you can send this and that, but it's not evidence enough. But I
Yeah.
think when we discuss with our LOs, we also have to get SCED to understand that sometimes what you think might be enough for you, but it's at the same time, it's not possible in our LDAs to do it the way that you want it. It would have happened, but it might not reflect as you want it, because the reality on the ground is that for instance, Dotdraft was placing a very practical example. Here you are,
Yeah.
you are in a sports field, you are selling fat cooks, you are selling sandwiches, you are selling sweets and all that. A child would not have time to feel all that.
Yes,
But
I
a sale has
understand.
taken place, you know.
Yes.
So I'm happy
Yes.
that when we are, maybe it might be that we talk to our LOs, that when
Yeah.
they come, then we talk further with that, and then we can
Mm.
then send whatever feedback to SCED in terms of how then we are going to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I agree. We are in agreement. We understand the difficulty. Maybe another solution would be to have a kind of tally where you are taking note of the number of customers and the number of sales per customer. So you would have at least two staff members. One of them is the one giving the product or giving the suite and taking the money, and the other one is recording one person bought 5 suites, and then later you can work out, okay, those 5 suites would have cost 5 rand in total, so that's where we got that 5 rand. So there's kind of a trail to say how you got to the final amount that you got. These are the number of sales, as opposed to nothing, no register or any kind of record keeping. Yamkela, did you have a question?
Good morning. I just wanted to add on what actually as I make a suggestion on what Dodrect was complaining about. I think it would be an idea if you'd actually like have them not to register them individually, like those small sales. Like you see a packet of smoothies, I think it's plus minus 50 packets inside, 50 packets of sweets inside. So now you bought them as say 55 rand. So you know that, okay, we bought the sweets for 55 rand, and then we have now 13 sweets left. So we made so maybe you sell one sweet for 1 rand. So you could record like that. So that's just another suggestion from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Yamkela. Yeah, so I think what Anastasia and I can do is take this question back to the programs director and to take advice and recommendation. I think it's, yeah, we understand that the complexity of it, but then from our side there needs to be a level of record keeping. Yeah, that's just how things go, unfortunately. So hopefully we can find some kind of middle ground that would work for everyone. All right. So this has been a big question. I'm wondering if there are other questions related to SOAR and what we went through before. Or other SOAR related questions are also possible. Okay. If you also want to put them in the chat, you can do that. But then also just to say about SOAR, we know that there are some teething difficulties, some challenges that need to be ironed out, but we are wanting to use the system to make the process more simple for you to use and for us to receive your information. It is a closed system, so we are not sharing any of your information. We definitely don't sell your information, and it's closed. It's a totally secure system. And we know that there might be some resistance to using it because we prefer the old method of email. But times do change and systems change. So we ask for your patience as you start, and we thank you for your cooperation. And just to say as well that because it's a new system, we recommend that you leave a bit of time before you need to do something. So if you need to submit your narrative report, give yourself a week or more, a few days to do so, because it's possible that once you start, you might have questions, things might not be how you expect. And if you don't give yourself enough time, then you might run into some challenges and not be able to get those answered. Okay, I am going to have a final round for questions.
I think it's not a question, Claire.
Yeah, okay.
It's just a comment
Okay.
that please bear on us. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I understand. And Anastasia, is there anything that you wanted to say in response to that?
Yes, so I know a couple of people contacted me and told me that this was happening, and I was able to assist them in that some of them were just inputting information and then logging out and not pressing done. So when you press done, the the system is able to capture your information. You won't see it here, Claire, but with the
Yeah.
narrative report and the finance report, at the end of each section, you're able to press done. So, people were telling me that, oh no, we put in information yesterday, and then when I come back, the information is not there. And I would tell them that, oh, once you press done, then the system captures your information. So I think
Right.
it's just one of those questions that came up while people were filling in the narrative and finance report, and I was able to address it. So I think it's always good to ask these questions because
Yeah.
I can clarify. But if you try and it happens, and you try and it happens, and you give up, then you'll never know that you are actually not skipping a step. You are actually not doing um the what you're supposed to do on the system.
Yeah. So even here, there's a done button.
Yeah.
So when you see done, just think it means save. Just always think.
Yeah, because I know other people thought by pressing done, they're submitting. No, you're not submitting. You're just saying, I'm done with what I'm doing now. And then at the end, you'll press submit.
Okay. And obviously, I don't see that screen because I'm using it as a different user, but on your side, there's a button to submit on the
Yes.
LPA side. Okay. I see we have another hand from Deirdre. Please go ahead.
I just want to know if you press done, but you have not completed the whole reporting. When you are starting tomorrow, where are you going to start? Because you are still continuing, but you press done because the time was you attended another thing, so you didn't finish the report. And then
Yes.
where do you press when you start again?
Yes. So let's say it's Friday and I'm working on this document, then I'm going to click done to save it. Then
Okay.
on Monday, I come back and I go, and then maybe now I close the website, so I need to reopen it. I go to funding and reports, go back to the FRIS claim form, and because I pressed done, the information had saved.
Oh,
Yeah. And obviously I have to click edit form because then you'll need to click edit form again if If you don't click edit form, you won't be able to click on anything. And then again, done.
Edit.
Yeah. So as you can see here, I'm clicking edit form. Then when I click done, then now I can't edit it. So it kind of, you can see that it's capturing it. Then again, I click edit form and I can edit.
Sinayo thina ngoku lo so kuba besingene kule nto.
Cacisa abantu so sibe nayo ke ngoku singene.
Okay. Are we good?
Good.
Great. Thank you for that question. Is there anything else there, Monica? No, we good? Okay. All right. So, are we feeling?
Hello.
Yes?
There is something else.
Okay.
I just want to be clear about the FRIS. If a child, for instance, the body is sweet 20 times, because the child so you must put in register that the name of the child for 20 times. Because there is an instance that the child have enough money, for instance, have 20 rand, and is going to buy sweets for the whole 20 rand, but is buying bit by bit. Are you going to register the name of the child 20 times for the record in the attendance register?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I
What are you
think,
going to do?
yeah, I think you would, because you're registering the money that's coming in. And unless you're going to give us a summary document of your register, in which case you could add them all up. But if you're just giving us a picture of what you actually recorded, you record each sale as it comes in. So whether it's from that child or a different child, it's a different sale. It happened at a different moment and they gave you a different amount of money and you gave them a different number of sweets, or even if it's the same amount, it's, yeah. Because otherwise you'd have to keep scratching out on your register. You know, maybe you've rewrote one sweet. I mean, there's, yeah, another way that I was looking at is if you had a tally form. Maybe this would work for you. So the item sold was a smoothie sweet. The unit price is at 50 cents. Tally, you write 1. Quantity, still 1. Amount received. See, I think it's going to be too difficult to cross it out, because even if you did a tally where you did like they 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have a line. Even if you did that, then you'd constantly be scratching out this amount as the amount received. So yeah, that's why I'm hearing the frustration in the challenge when there are small amounts. And that's why I'm suggesting that we take this question and we get a response from SCAT's programs director of what will be required. Because, yeah, we see the difficulty. Okay. All right. So it seems like we've had a lot of questions. I don't see any more hands. So can I take it that everybody is just going to give the system a try and then ask us questions when they come up?
Yes, we are also quiet but listening as well.
Yes. Yeah. And I think it's only when you start using the system that you'll realize the questions that you have. So please at that stage ask us, because just watching me now, it's not the same as when you do it yourself. Yes, I see your hand, Marvel.
Hello, Now, Claire, I just wanted to know, is it possible that we can maybe get some of that templates, that events tally form, or
Yes.
that if you can get some copies of that, I would like
Mm,
that, please.
yes, definitely. So what we, Anastasia and I are going to do is to go back to our programs director and have a conversation about the way forward. And then we can share with you the like a scat form that will give you that same kind of format. So we can definitely make a form like that available for you. Great. Okay, shall we wrap up the session here if there are no further questions? Great. All right, well, then I shall say thank you, everyone. Okay, Anastasia, would you like to go again?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I think I should have said this when you're still busy with the actual forms,
Okay, I
but
can share again.
it's nothing in specific. Um, but you'll notice that in the FRIS and DFT forms where there's a drop down or where you have to select from, for example, type of activity, yes. We don't
Mm-hmm.
have an a long list of activities. So
Mm,
most times you'll have to press or you'll have to select other.
yeah.
So when you see that you've selected other um, multiple times, obviously it means that we don't have enough information about what you're doing. So when it comes to the open text, I will ask that you please tell us exactly what you're doing. Even if you feel like you are giving us a lot of useless information, trust me, sometimes that information is not useless. We need the entire story. Why are you doing this event? Why is it important for you as an organization? Why is it important to the community? And what would you like to achieve from this activity? I think that detail is very important so that we avoid that back and forth between a PO and an organization.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Anastasia. Okay. I think we have come to the end.
Just
And
one more, Claire, that's triggered by the important clarity that has just been now.
yeah.
In terms of actual programs, do we also have an option to include other so that we can report on programs that are not necessarily listed as on the system?
When you say programs,
The
what?
initiatives that we are implementing, because we looked in line with the narrative report, we wanted to at least have an opportunity to report according to everything that we've done in the manual template.
Yeah. So give me an example of something that you've done that you feel wasn't covered. Maybe we can answer if we have the detail.
Perhaps in the interest of time, let's take it offline so that we can
Okay.
make a proper presentation.
Can I
Okay.
also say something, Claire?
Yeah.
And this is if I'm understanding the question, because I did see the report from MC Foundation. I think what is different from the old way of reporting to the source system is that SCAT is mainly focusing on its focus areas. So we have five focus areas. So we are zooming into those focus areas. And I feel that maybe other organizations may feel like they're doing work outside of those focus areas and would like to report on that work. Am I understanding correctly?
Yes.
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 So it is something that I have um taken forward to management, but I do understand that SCAD would like to focus on their five focus areas for now. So I'm still waiting for the outcome of that issue that I brought to management.
Thank you, Anastasia. And I think you can hear from what we've shared in this meeting that as much as the system is new to you, it's also new to us. And we are still refining it. And yeah, but we're getting there step by step. Okay. I'm going to close the meeting here and would like to say thank you all so much for joining and for participating and for asking great questions so that we can provide answers. And also sometimes the questions that were asked, somebody might have had a similar question. So I think it's really great to share them in this way and just to invite you to ask further questions from your program officer or from Anastasia. Great. Okay. Thank you, everyone. We will share the recording. And yeah, that's it.